Oh, hello and welcome to Talking Baseball. We got baseball in Mexico. Guys not running to first. Some big boys injured. Judge DeGrom. Trev, 1 month in. Let's go. Woo. Hello and welcome to Talking Baseball, and happy 1st of May, Trevor Plouffe, Big Baby David, as we enter the teeth of this baseball season, 1/6 of the way through the grind, Trev. We laughed at 1/10 of the way. 1/6 is pretty real.
1/6?
There's a couple, if you do it by months, April, May, June, July, August, September. Oh, is that 7? I do that
regular
right?
season is like you get a taste of it bleeds in.
Did you just count in October because you're a Yankee fan?
I might not be this year, Trev.
Oh boy, early. What
year.
does Charles Barkley say? They've gone fishing.
It's it hasn't been your granddaddy's Yankees so far. Trevor, how are you doing? Last we saw you, you were under the weather. You had a big weekend ahead. You were going to the Dodgers game. You had a lot of kids' activities. How are you?
I'm doing better. I'm still fighting something, but for the most part, I feel good. I did have a big weekend. I saw my boy Jay Flair throw at Dodger Stadium. He didn't have his best outing, but it's always good to see him in action. Then Teddy had a walk-off hit, and this dude is he got a taste of stardom. People were coming up to him and hey, good job, Teddy. And I just saw the twinkle in his eyes, oh
yeah,
okay. If I
that.
continue to do this, people like it. So that's been interesting. I've had to deal with some cocky sun all weekend, which is fine. Then we did a monster truck rally on Saturday night at SoFi Stadium, which I've never been. I'm not a truck guy, not a monster truck guy. But if you can go to one of these things, you have to go. It was the most entertaining thing I've been to in a long time. I know this is Talking Baseball, but I might start a podcast called Talking Trucks. Because it was that electric. Gravedigger, Monster Mutt, Zombie, El Toro Loco. These guys were going off. It was awesome. But Monday episodes are my favorite. A lot of crazy stuff happened. Some teams are shining. Some teams are not shining. Some teams are blacked out. And we're going to talk about it today. How you doing, Big Daddy? You look good today.
Gravedigger, what a shout out. Yeah, I got one of my JM merch shirts going. Little John Boy. Go check out. This would be if I was a drummer in a band. I think I'd wear this shirt. Had a good weekend. Had a wedding. Had a good time there. Couple of the old lads there. Congrats to Eddie and Lauren. And yeah, the Yanks are in a bad place. I know you want to talk about that a little bit in the middle of this episode. And yeah, Trev, I don't know. It's just 1 month in and you're looking at, a 20-win Pirates team. How with the current playoff format, that might be enough to get you dancing, but that means there's going to be a couple teams that we thought would be dancing. I don't know, man. This sounds really dumb, and maybe this is the Yankees sucking ass right now, I'm really excited to get to, I want the next month so bad. Are the Cardinals going to be out of this season? Or is there going to be, are they going to put together their 19-win month or something? I want to see the rest of the painting, and that's kind of the beauty of this baseball season. And, man, there's a couple teams that deserve some love that we haven't been given a ton to. How about your Marlins, Trev? 16-13. I think we just got to get into it. There's baseball in Mexico. Would have been nice to get a few ABs there, huh, Trev?
I mean, how much was the elevation? You're basically playing in space. So that was cool to see that. I want to say this. Before we start, I just want to mention this because I was down on the field. Pre-game, I wanted to put myself out there if anyone wanted to come talk to me. Actually, 2 things. I forgot to even tell you guys this. Number 1, Stubby Clapp came up to me.
Ooh.
And wanted to introduce himself. I was he goes, Trevor, Stubby Clapp here. I said, Stubby, I know who you are, bro.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Please.
And we had a nice conversation. I'm sure he saw the breakdown when he was holding back Pete Alonso. And we talked about that on this show. But we had a nice, friendly conversation. He's a stud. So shout out Stubby. And then I just saw the Cardinals are massive, dude. Paul Goldschmidt is massive. Tyler O'Neill had the tightest shirt on I've ever seen in my life. It was painted on, and this dude is roped up. Like I knew he was jacked, but you get next to him, and it doesn't even look real. It looks like he's got like balloons in his sleeves or something like that, dude. This guy is absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
So we're talking, are the Cardinals going to figure it out? I think they will. Shout out Katie Wu. We had a nice conversation as well. My Cardinals plug there, if you will.
It's time to go, Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill, my meathead king, and Stubby Clapp, another one of my old college nicknames.
The tightest shirt I have ever seen.
You got it.
I couldn't believe he was wearing it.
Trev, can you believe that Topps Bowman, that's right, you know them, the number one name in the cards game, dating back to 1948. The first Bowman baseball card set was released following the end of World War II, Trevor. Sheesh. And it's a favorite among contemporary collectors who focus on top prospects. I know you're in the game, Trev. And guess what? First Bowman cards in 2023 include Drew Jones.
Got one.
How about Spencer Jones, Justin Crawford, Jacob Berry? If you're in this world, you already know who these guys are. And every year they come out with a new exciting class, potential Hall of Famers. And Trev, if Trev's in the game, you know why he's in the game, because he's in the game to be in the game, if you know what I'm saying. Find the game's future stars in 2023 Bowman Baseball, available at your local hobby shops, retailers, and Topps.com. Why don't you click the link in the description? Find the game's future stars at Topps.com. Do you have any Trevor Plouffe cards?
Had a few. I've already broken that product. Had a box shipped out, filmed a video. I got a Drew Jones first Bowman card. I was pretty excited about that. But that is my favorite card product. The Bowman stuff is really good.
Teddy's college fund right there.
There it is. Come on, Drew Jones, be somebody.
Let's talk some baseball. Trevor, in your American League, I think there's a team that needs a little bit more credit, and maybe a team that we'll see. The Blue Jays take 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. The Blue Jays, they put up a great April. They cap it off with 2 out of 3. Was almost 3 out of 3 in a sweep, but a crazy final game. Cal Raleigh and that big dumper fighting back for your Seattle Mariners. Our guy Taylor Trammell is back for them. Dalton Varsho with a walk-off in that second game. And Matt Chapman is continuing to hit, Trev, your guy. Blue Jays, sad to see April leave, while the Mariners may be on the opposite end of the spectrum. Two couple teams that are thumbs sideways about April. The Cleveland Guard Dogs lose 2 out of 3 to your Boston Red Sox. They take the final 2 games. Bayo's back, and he gives them a nice effort, and they win in extras in that second game. And then Chris Sale with a big boy outing, along with Alex Verdugo, who's been hitting for the lads. Jaron Duran, too. Shane Bieber got it done in that first game for the Guardians. 13-15 for them. Not great, Bob. Not what you'd expect. What we have expected all April, the Minnesota Twins, Trevor. They take 3 out of 4 from the Royals, who are happy to see the month of April go. Your Twins pitch, Trev, but they had a couple injuries. Tyler Molly's going to the IL. Maeda going to the IL. For this series, it didn't matter. Pablo gets it done again. Sonny Gray, is he your pitcher of the month for April? My goodness. The Twins close it out on a high note. Kansas City, it was a tough one. Rays take 3 out of 4 from Chicago. That probably doesn't surprise you. They were going for the 4-game sweep. The White Sox show a little fight, a back and forth last game. Andrew Vaughn with the walk-off. Rays came back in that one. You know the names by now. Bilal, Arozarena, Wander. This team is relentless, and we had a bit of a running out situation with Luis Robert that we're going to talk about in that one. Rays, talk about a good month. My Yankees lost 3 out of 4 to the better team this weekend, the Rangers. They take the final 3 games after the Yankees win on Cold Day. DeGrom dominates, but he has to leave again due to injury. Speaking of dominate, Nate Dogg makes it regulate. Evaldi, complete game. Yankees were outgunned. Young, Heim, and Lowe in the final game. Rangers, 3 out of 4 from the Yankees. The Yankee fans are nervous. Orioles fans are not, because they win 3 out of 4 against your Detroit Tigers. Jorge Mateo, he's one dotting. How about that? Zach Short from the compound gets the call. He hits a home run, and I think he's 4 for 6 early on. That was the Tigers' most signs of hope. Mountcastle is hitting. McKenna and Hayes. Grayson Rodriguez, 5 shut piece from the young kid. You're going to hear some Orioles in this one, and you're going to hear a lot of other things because that's what happened in the American League wrap-up.
Attaboy, Jake. On a Monday morning, come with a fire like that?
That's all I know.
That's all you know.
The Rays are 23-6.
Whoops.
My goodness. The Baltimore Orioles are 19-9. Blue Jays 18-10. That's an incredible month. That isn't a third place month. The Red Sox and the Yankees, huh? The old dogs, 15-14, fighting every day, and might be outgunned early on in this season. Your Minnesota Twins are 17-12. They are 3.5 games in first place, the only team above 500 in the Centrale. Your 13-15 Guard Dogs. Tigers are 10-17 in third. White Sox and Royals, oh my. Oh my. Rangers are 17-11. Good on them. Great April. Astros are 15-13. Interesting. Angels are 15-14. Mariners are 12-16. And Oakland is moving. So
that's mean, bro.
Hey, man, their fans were at the stadium marching about it. So
yeah.
It's not a twist of the knife. It's just honest. Trev, let's go to maybe the most successful team and the least successful team, arguably, in the AL this month. Because we get a very interesting, because you're going to get a couple of these every year. The Rays dominate. White Sox end their losing streak, although you had Lance Lynn, who was perfect, and then you have a 10-run inning. Like, everything in Rays land is beautiful. Everything in White Sox land is not. And then we get Luis Robert running to first. Chopper, it looks like he's going to have a beat, but he pulls up at the end, and then we get some hamstring quotes, and I don't know where this story would be otherwise, Trev, if it wasn't with everything else going on with the White Sox, but it is. So I don't know. Where do you stand on this whole thing? Because this gets into locker room dynamics a little bit. Latin players and communicating injuries, like the whole thing. So I kick it to you.
I mean, I don't think like the Latin player part of this has anything to do with it. I will say this instance is like when you try to put a trash bag in your trash can and it's already full. And you're like, I got to like press the rest of the trash down to get this one so I can close the lid. I don't know if you guys do that in New York. I think you just throw the trash on the streets or something like that.
Yeah, we just empty it on the streets.
Everywhere else we have trash cans. This one's interesting to me because I'm kind of siding with Louis on this one. And I know it looks bad, but he said after the game that the previous night he had felt his hamstring tighten up. Now, where he went wrong is he didn't communicate.
Right.
I guess he told Elvis Andrus. He might have even told Moncada.
And that's what I was trying to say before, Trev. Like, you often note that locker rooms have different dichotomies, that it seemed like he told the Latin ball players this, but he maybe didn't want to tell the manager because he didn't want to be benched. So I don't know.
And that does happen from time to time, man. It's like, okay, I'm feeling this. Is it worthy enough for me to go to the training staff and tell them about it? Because if I do say it, especially if you're a guy like Louis, like they're gonna make you sit.
Yes.
And now, so in your head, you're like, hey, I want to play through things. I want to be known as a guy like that. And I don't see him as a guy like a dog. So he wanted to play. He should have communicated it because in my mind also, and this is to all the ball players out there, if you're hurt, take a day off because then things can snowball if they don't. So this looks really bad. He pulls up, ends up coming out of the game. Pedro Grifol basically benched him. Afterwards, I think they talked to Louis first, and the media talked to him first, and then they talked to Grifol, and he's like, I had no idea about this injury. So that's kind of where the problem is. It kind of got painted as he was dogging it, and they had to take him out, but I think he actually was injured. He didn't play the next game. But this is just like, it's just a bad look, man. And again, if this was a team that was 18-10 or whatever, like this is something that we don't even really care about.
Right.
But it's just added on to the White Sox struggles and on the field, off the field. It's just become a nightmare for Sox fans. We talked about this last episode. You declared him dead.
Yeah. I'm
going down with the ship, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Like, is he going to go on the IL now? I bet you he probably will. And then all this is probably for nothing. I think it's just a situation where it looked really bad and the communication wasn't there. But I do believe he was nursing some sort of injury because that does happen a lot where you're just like, man, I think I can play through it. And you can't.
Yeah, I guess that's reliving everything because, you know, I would assume if someone hears the phrase like Luis Robert wasn't running hard to first and afterwards he says a hamstring, that I think the normal reaction is to be like, okay, throwing a little excuse out there after the fact. Him and Grifol needed to be on the same page. You know, going into the media with everything else that's going on, and I guess I don't know if that's mid-game, I don't know if that's pre-game, because you're right, Trev, like, you kind of get Luis Robert's side of it, of that, hey, I want to play. Like, I am supposed to be part of the young future of this team. With the way things are going right now, we're on a 10-game loser. If I tell them that I felt something in my hamstring, I'm not playing. Mm-hmm. I want to play. You want to give a guy credit for that. But when you see the play and it's a chopper and it's like, oh, shoot, like I think he's going to get there. And then you see him pull up on those last few steps. You're like, oh, boy.
Yeah, it looked bad.
It looks bad. It looks bad. And, yeah, I guess the other thing is like, you know, was he playing the outfield in that game? I think he was. That, you know, if you're doing that and you can play the outfield and run, I don't know. I realize like turning on and going on a hamstring is a really tricky thing. Like I think anyone that's played sports, if you felt a tight hammy, you know, when you're coming up against the line, that's a very scary feeling. Because you know it could go the other way really quick. That I don't know, man. It's messy.
There are times like, I mean, shoot, throughout my career, I had a lot of soft tissue stuff. There are times where you feel something tighten up, and you're not sure what it is.
Right.
If you pull something, you typically know. But there are also times where it's like just a small tightening of that hamstring muscle, and especially if it's like in the belly of the muscle, like you're just really worried about it. So I'll tell you this. If you hit a swinging bunt and you can sniff a hit, you're running that thing out because you want the knock. That's kind of that's how I came up with, or why I'm kind of siding on the fact that I think he actually was injured, because when you smell a knock, you go. You don't pull up like that. So his issue was, and I guess I'll say this, he was wrong for not communicating. Like that makes your manager look bad. It makes you look bad. Like you have to communicate these things. Now, do I understand why he didn't want to bring it up? He was unsure. Like maybe this was just a little tight. Maybe it was just a cramp and I need to hydrate and I'll be fine. And then you get put into that position where you have to kind of burst and you're like, oh shit. It happens quickly. So it was again, like I said, there were, you know, the Sox have been bad, historically bad. And this is just added on top of it. Now, did they come out and have a crazy ninth inning comeback in the rain, capped off by an Andrew Vaughn fucking walk-off homer to turn their season around?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Lock it in.
Imagine like this series for them. You have Lance Lynn going perfect after being called out by your fucking radio dude. Steve Stone calls him fat, basically. Comes out the next game, pissed off, and does his thing. But then they end up losing, giving up a 10 spot in an inning. Like, it couldn't get any worse in Chicago right now. And then they go and they pull off something amazing. Is this going to be the start? I don't know, man. You've given up on them. I'm pretty much given up. I've pretty much given up on these guys. I don't know. I guess I'm hanging on for dear life here.
And
White Sox.
Let's give some credit, as we've tried to do the whole way. And Rays fans will get mad at me and forever because I am a Yankees fan. And if I mention the schedule and just as a side comment to everything they do is incredible, they'd want to come at me, and I get it because 23-6 is just unreal. It's as good of a month as you can have in baseball. And, man, that 10-run inning, my God, to be in the seat of both fan bases, to be a Rays fan and being like, we can do whatever we want this year.
Whatever.
And to be a White Sox fan and be like, oh, my God, it's bad. Man, the Rays, we kind of, I don't know if I'm using this phrase right, but we almost can't soliloquy enough about them. I think we go through the 9 OPSs. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A couple of those guys are 1 dotting. You got a 2 in the, above 8.5 that don't make the list. As dominant as April as you will see in baseball. And Trev, I think maybe the interesting combo around it that we've done a little bit is just like, I think that locks you into a playoff spot if you're the Rays.
I mean, yeah, unless they have just an absolutely abysmal month, they're doing very well to put themselves into October. Look, May is going to be huge for them. I want to see what they do because they are facing, the who's who of teams in the big leagues, but they are the best team in the big leagues right now. So what the fuck do they care?
They are the who's who.
They are the who's who. They're on top. So it's still going to be interesting. I think if you're a Rays fan, you understand that. Great first month. You're stoked about it. You see your team doing things that you probably couldn't imagine at the beginning of the year with that offense. There's no way you imagine they'd be banging the ball around like this. I'm sorry. But they've done it. And now you know what you're capable of. And here we go, man.
And how about the 2 best teams in baseball teeing it up to start May? The Rays versus the Pirates.
Love that.
We all had it.
We all had it, man.
We all had it. Trev, selfishly, I want to scratch this itch quick. What questions do you have about the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees?
I think the Yankees are a team right now that is trying to figure things out. We've talked a bunch off camera about the lack of depth with the Yankees, and I know you guys are not happy with the way your roster is right now. I'm curious to see how you guys are having Boone on today.
We're interviewing Boone after I'm done with you, Trevor.
Son of a gun. I can't wait to see how that goes.
My favorite third baseman.
Judge.
Third baseman Monday.
Oh, man. I think we have to give credit to the Rangers they're doing everything right. They're doing what the Rays are doing. I mean, they're banging the ball. They're pitching well. Both starting pitching and relievers have been doing it for them. Obviously, we get the Jacob deGrom news. Man, that's tough. Him and Martin Perez have been just absolutely lights out for them. And you kind of need that 1-2 punch there. We'll see what goes on. I think they're going to announce today what's going on. I can't imagine him not going on the IL. It just seems like it's a foregone conclusion. But some of these dudes on the Rangers, man, Jonah Heim, Josh Young, like they're just. I was worried going into the season with this team and the Mets. Like when you bring a bunch of guys together, more so with this team than the Mets, but when you bring a bunch of guys together, you never know how they're going to like gel and how it's going to work out. The Rangers fans couldn't have asked for a better first month of baseball than they've gotten, besides the Jacob deGrom at the end of the month,
Right.
going on the IL.
Which now, 2 of his last 3 starts, he's left via a precaution injury, which...
And this one's obviously a little bit more because it's a forearm. The last one was a tight wrist, which is weird, but the forearm can mean more like ligament stuff in the elbow. So, I mean, praying, man, we need to see Jacob deGrom throwing the baseball every 5 days. But this Rangers team, dude.
They bang, Trev.
Did you have them? I think you were pretty high on them in the preseason, if I recall.
I think there was a little beef, and I actually think it was over the Yankees that I liked the Rangers lineup more than the Yankees. And by the way, they're banging right now without Seager. They are second in runs scored. And man, I think 2 things have been massive. I think Josh Young is a guy, and hey, let's see. You know, baseball, the pitchers get a chance to adjust at a certain point, but boy, does he look the part. And Jonah Heim, like you shouted out last time, we thought this guy was like, oh, I don't know, switch hitting catcher, had a good 15 games. We'll give him a daisy, which, by the way, next episode, get ready. Jonah Heim looks the part. And that goes with Nathaniel Lowe, who's probably underrated. That goes with Marcus Semien, who after his slow start last year was Marcus Semien, and now there's no slow start. That they bang. And Trev, I say this in a complimentary way because I want other teams to hopefully do this at some point. They bought a whole rotation. Evaldi, shoved. They got him. Martin Perez, John Gray the year before, the Heen Dog. Like, if you're a team looking at your rotation and you don't love it, your owner can get you this.
You can. Yeah. Free agency happens every single offseason. It does.
It's called investing. Look it up.
The vibes have to be good in Texas. You checked the box a big way in April. They're a tough team. And yeah, the Yankees' depth is just, Judge, Stanton, Bader are out. There's 3 guys in your lineup. Rodon, Severino, Montas. There's 3 guys in your rotation. The team feels different. And that's where, people want us to kill Boone today, and maybe I will. But also, he's not the GM. He gets a certain crew of guys, and he puts them on the field, and he hopes for the best. That we're definitely going to see what the vibes are like, because it feels like some of the young guys are pressing, which wouldn't you? If you were supposed to be a young guy role player on the Yankees, and now you're hitting second, the fact that they are 15-14 compared to, some of the other teams that have been struggling, Cardinals, Mariners, like it's, in a way, you've weathered the storm. The problem is, Trev, they're going to have to weather a little bit more of storm. And then by June, I think you're talking about Severino and you're talking about Stanton, and hopefully Judge is all right. And if a young guy can step up, which they did not in April, then you're talking about a different formula. But right now, it's, go Texas, go Texas, go.
Go Texas. Will Smith, Leclerc back there, Dane Dunning doing it. Will Smith, what the freak, man? Why are you so good?
He does not give a fuck.
Big old balls.
Big old balls.
Look, this Rangers team has impressed me big time. I wasn't high on them. I wasn't high on the City Connect jerseys, and then I saw them on the field, and I kind of liked them. I wasn't high on the lineup. Then I've seen them do their thing, and now I kind of like it. I wasn't really sold on the pitching staff. I'm still a little iffy on that, unless they have everybody healthy. But you got to be happy as a Rangers fan, man. That thing turned around quick.
Right. If they had a 500 month, we wouldn't have been surprised. If they had a 13-15 month like the Guardians, what would we say? Like, all right, like it's a step in the right direction. No, they are. You put together another month like that, and you are very much looking towards the playoffs, which right now it's a month in, and so much is going to change. This is where I started the episode of wanting to know the next chapter. I want to know the next chapter so bad because, man, I mean, the whole AL East is trying to make the playoffs. The Twins and the Guardians think they're going to make the playoffs. The Rangers, Astros, Angels, Mariners are hoping to make the playoffs. That 5 of those teams are going to have disappointing seasons. Like that's a lot to stomach, and it makes you nervous if your team is one of those teams.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Let's go quick on the Red Sox Guardians. Red Sox have been absolutely crushing the ball as of late. Yoshi, he doesn't like that.
He doesn't like that. I know. I gotta stop.
I like it though.
I know, but it's kind of
Don't
not
the
our
fans have a say.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Yoshida on a 10-game heater. He's doing it. That offense has carried them. Sale had a nice bounce back start, like you mentioned, which is good for them to see. I guess they work some mechanical stuff. They want him to be more loose and athletic and not so robotic. I never have thought about Chris Sale as robotic on the mound.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from because he just like slings it.
Like prehistoric bird.
It is. He's such a difficult at bat when he's on, man. Such a difficult at bat. But great start by him. Guardians, their depth is being tested a little bit.
Yeah,
called
man.
up some of the young guys on the pitching staff who actually have done good because that's what the Guardians do. They're able to develop pitchers, especially. Verdugo gives good at bats, like every single at bat, man. So the Red Sox have weathered the storm too. They're 1 game over 500, I believe.
Yeah, tied with the Yanks, 15 and 14.
All right, they got to go.
It's a really tough division, man.
Twins Royals. I don't want to go. Everyone says, "Oh, you talk about the Twins too much." We're going to be talking about the Twins, bro. We're going to be talking about the Twins. That starting pitching, that 5 in the rotation. Yeah, Molly got hurt, but they got guys to come up and fill that spot. They got Ober, they got Varland, they got Simeon Woods Richardson. They got some depth there. Sonny Gray has been arguably the best pitcher in the American League, starting pitcher in the American League. And they're hitting homers. I think they're 6th in the league in homers. Michael A. Taylor has 4. Jake, how many stolen bases do the Twins have, though?
As a team, they have 4, and 3 of those are Michael A. Taylor.
What's up with that? I gotta get in there and say, hey guys, look, I get it. Byron, maybe you don't steal any bases right now, but everybody else, can we get on your horse a little bit? This game is meant for stolen bases now. I guess if you're hitting homers at the pace they are, they're like, fuck it, dude. We don't need to steal bases. Let's just hit home runs. Yeah. But they're looking good, man. I'm excited about the Twins. And in 2 weeks, when they come to LA, May 15th, I'll be in the dugout. And I'll be like, hey guys, steal. Fucking steal some bases.
Run a little bit.
What if I start giving signs?
From the booth?
I'll be in the dugout.
You get in trouble? You're like, hey.
I can't get in trouble. Dude.
You're going to be in the, so you're like straight Kelsey. You're going to be in the dugout sideline.
For those 2 series, Dodgers-Angels, I'll be sidelining it, man. So I'll be whispering to the boys. Like,
you're going to be with the fellas? That's so dangerous.
Awesome. What if I pick up a tip? Am I like, can I not give it to him or can I?
I think you have to. You're a part of the team. You just said you get a ring.
That's right. Hey, you're welcome. I'm basically analyst / new coach.
You being distracted from your job, trying to find a tip to give to the fellas is
Hold on,
electric.
Shut up. Producer, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. I think I got
no, I think he's fluttering his glove on breaking balls. Yeah, Trev, you check the boxes. Cleveland, Boston, Chris Sale, second to last pitch, 97.8.
Whoops.
Okay. Twins are straight up good, and the White Sox, which we're hoping to add a wrinkle to that division, doesn't look like it's there. The Guardians, you see a lot of names you're not familiar with. That's kind of every year with the Guardians, so hopefully it's a slow burn for them. Orioles take 3 out of 4 from the Tigers. That's not a surprise at all, and I think that's the American League.
You'll hear more about one Oriole in particular later on in the show.
Let's do some National League.
Do you want to tell people about something?
I'll tell them about Blue Moon. Because if you've followed me on the social mediums, you've seen that I've been having a couple Blue Moons this baseball season.
Ask me if I had a Blue Moon this weekend.
Trevor, did you have a Blue Moon this weekend?
You fucking know I did.
Some beers can say they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon can say is brewed by baseball. Created at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Miss it out there. Fresh air, Rockies baseball. You know that Valencia orange peel is what helped make it special. It's a different experience. And hey, you could bring the ballpark to you with get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Some of my favorite words in a sentence. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Find out how you can get your Blue Moon. Celebrate responsibly and check out the link in the description. Got me a little thirsty. There's some playoff hockey in New York. New York's hot in the streets right now, Trev. A couple Blue Moons. Yes.
Jacob deGrom officially on the IL, which I think we all kind of figured, but I just saw on the screen over here.
And we'll might find out from Booney today if Judge is officially going on the IL. We will see.
And we forgot to mention in the Orioles, they promoted this guy, Joey Ortiz. A lot of Orioles fans have been mentioning him to me. It could be a difference maker for them. So that AL East, bro.
The Orioles have found a way to increase on the margins, which if you remember, the guy calling the shots for them now is from the other American League team that increased on the margin so much that they've been to the ALCS 6 straight years.
Yes.
So, man, they are a problem, and it's eye-opening. And I'm not... Hit the music, Beebs. And why don't we head down to Mexico, baby? How about it? MLB baseball in Mexico. Los Típido Gigantes versus the San Diego Padres. And the Padres take both games on the moon. 16-11 in game 1. 6-4 in the follow-up game. Trev, pad your stat time. Nelly Cruz, 5 for 6. Manny Machado, 3 for 4. Tatis, 2 for 6. Carpenter and Soto, they're hitting in the follow-up game. You got pitchers tweeting that their stats shouldn't count in games played where the altitude is 7,000 feet or higher. Both teams went back-to-back, boogie-to-boogie. I've got this circled a little bit for San Diego because the stats get boosted. Their month of April looks a little better. It's a winning April. I think this might be important for them. San Francisco, you just got to be like, what the hell? What the hell was that? Speaking of standard tweets, DBacks take 2 out of 3. You could just schedule it at this point. They take 2 out of 3 from my Rocks and Trevor's DBacks with the walk-off from Teddy. They take games 1, 9-1. Merrill Kelly with a big boy start on that as the boys rack them on the scoreboard. Game 2, Perdomo. You want to talk about how much a year can change you as a ball player. Look what he's done compared to last year. Good for him. And look what Christian Walker just does. The boys are bopping in Arizona, and they check off a very good April. A little different story for my Rocks. A team that probably deserves to be talked about, the Miami Marlins, sweep a Cubbies team that we just gave a lot of love to, and now I kind of regret it. The Marlins, 3 one-run games, and that's what they've done this year. I think they're 10-0 in one-run games. They're setting records there. Luis Arias, I might start talking about him every episode. He's not even the highlight. He's just chasing 400 casually. Segura with the walk-off single. Jazz Chisholm, cover athlete. John Birdie rocking everywhere. The Marlins get the sweep. Arias is hitting 438, Trev. The Dodgers sweep the Cardinals. Circle this one both ways. Dodgers end up with a 5-month, and it feels like half their players have been missing from fucking. The Cardinals, they just had, I don't know what to do anymore, Trev. We half defended them last time. They end up with a bad month. Jordan Montgomery gives them a great start. They say that's what they've been missing. And he gets one up by Clayton Kershaw because that's what he does. Jason Hayward is hitting the ball hard. I don't know, man. Dodgers and Cardinals used to have the same devil magic. It's not feeling that way right now. Trevor Plouffe was in the building. We'll get more on that. Scheduled tweet. Pirates take 2 out of 3 from the Nats. Nats take that final game, obviously, because friend of the program, Josiah Gray, keeps dropping it on teams. Brian Reynolds and Jack Sawinski. How about Miguel Andujar how's your trade rumor? He puts in a couple big games for the Pirates as he gets the call. And Drew Maggi, steals the headlines again. Good for him. He is a hilarious interview. And finally in the National League, Braves won a 5-inning game over the Mets. It's just been raining. It's just been raining. They're trying to play a double dick today, and that's what happened in the National League. Trevor Plouffe, your National
standings.
Your National League standings. The Atlanta Braves 18-9. Again, scheduled tweet. The Mets are 15-12, and I think it's a half-happy 15-12. They're supposed to get that JV guy back. How about him? The Miami Marlins 16-13. The Phillies 15-14. The Nats 10-17. But your East Coast teams, look out. The Pirates are 20-9. The Brewers, we need to give them a little more love, man. 18-10. That's a fantastic month. Cubs, after that final sweep, 14-13. Reds are 12-16. Cardinals, 10-19. Snakes and DBacks locking horns atop the division at 16-13. Padres are a game back. Giants 11-16. Rockies 9-20. Trev, let's head to Mexico.
I would love to go to Mexico.
You do like going to Mexico even.
Yeah.
We're playing at altitude. It's what gets kind of just a chuckle and a head turn out of me is that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. We kicked a couple games to London and we kicked a couple games to Mexico and it wasn't. I don't know. I mean, that just is crazy to me. And in game 2, the over-under betting-wise got up to like 20 runs and, it was actually a normal-esque game. Trev, why didn't we go to this game?
I'm not so sure. I heard Mexico City has some of the greatest food in the world. I've watched like a bunch of Netflix documentaries on it. I need to get down there.
Let's go. Astros and Rocks are playing in next season.
It's funny because, they had I think it was a Broncos-Raiders game down there. And they're talking about how like the ball was just like staying in the air on punts and stuff like that. You can't really fathom it, but I guess I saw an interview this morning. My guy Yonder Alonso was talking to Bogey and to Machado. And both of them were like, dude, we're just trying to put the ball in the air, baby. And that's a really, really good feeling. You get that every once in a while on the stage, Jake. Yeah. Playing at Chicago at Wrigley and the wind's blowing out. Give me some of that. Milwaukee at times during the summer. Just put the ball in the air and it's going to go. Cincinnati is the same way. This is different. Over 7,000 feet elevation. It's like double what Coors Field is. Think about that. And not only was the ball flying in the air, but Bogarts made the point to mention how fast the infield was. So we're talking about a total hitter's dream here. And I love feed me the pitcher's tears, bro. Oh my God. The game is difficult for us for once. Yeah. For once, it's difficult for the pitchers. I freaking love it. I love the Padres. They went with the City Connect unis too, just because they wanted to have fun. There was mariachi bands playing. They had the sombreros. They really kind of embraced the whole Mexican culture there, which I think is awesome. Padres took care of business, dude, which is good for them because, hey, they're right next to Mexico.
They're there. They're having fun with the Rey Mysterio mask. Trev, winning both games takes them from 13-14 in the month to 15-14. I guess I want to ask you, getting in the locker room a little bit, like, I guess, do we make too much of it? Like, are the Padres going to show up to work and be like, hey, it's May now, the first month's in the rear view, let's go? Does that not even happen? Like, does the first month matter at all?
Sorry, 8 o'clock happened. Mad Dog came on. Boom, had to turn that off. It doesn't matter that much. It's nice, though. It's a nice, going through a month and saying, hey, we finished over 500 is great. But with a team like the Padres and like the veterans they have and the confidence clearly that's on that team, I don't think like they'd be worried if they finish at 500 or, one game below 500. I'm still waiting on this team to really fully go. I think everybody in baseball is. It's kind of like, yeah, they're going to get hot at some point. I think this was the first game, which is, understandably so. I think it's Soto, Tatis, Bogarts, and Machado all homered in the same game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think all four of them. Yeah.
I feel like that's going to happen like again and again and again.
I mean, all four is tough, but
I don't know. Like with those group of guys, I feel like, okay, how many times do you think we'll see that this year?
I mean, you're not going to love this because normally I'm the other guy. I'll say 0, dude. All four of them? That's insane.
I think it happens at least 3 other times this year.
Okay.
Put the over under at 2.5. I'm taking the over. They're just too good to be held down for this long. Offensively, I think this team is going to absolutely go. I want to look up where they're at. I love doing this. It's such a great snapshot, Fangraphs roster resource where you're at as against the other teams. You expect the Padres to be in top 10 categories in pretty much any offensive statistic, and right now they're 25th in average, 20th in on base percentage, 17th in OPS. That ain't gonna stay like that, man. Like, they're going to get absolutely scorching hot. And will this Mexico series be the catalyst? I mean, you get that feeling like, anything you hit turns into gold. Like, I know they're going to not play in Mexico anymore, but like, you can carry that confidence over into these next games. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw a little bit of an offensive outburst from the Padres, in the coming weeks.
Trev, I very much believe in the confidence theory. I very much believe in them having a winning record. Just feels a little bit different. Carpenter and Nelly Cruz, 2 guys we didn't know what to pencil them in for this year. After that, Nelson Cruz, 849 OPS. Matt Carpenter, a 908. Don't forget what he did last year. Like, in his sample size, Matt Carpenter was the best hitter in baseball. That now, like, Tatis, you're here. Get into rhythm. We need you. Bogey, all he's done is hit. Manny was sliding. Can a couple swings get him back? Soto, I don't really know what to do with. It's officially entered a weird territory, right?
It has. Since he's been over here, it's been strange.
Like
get comfortable, bro. You're in San Diego.
Like,
put some flip-flops on or something.
This is a guy we confidently said was one of, if not the best young hitter of all time, and Padre fans are used to like a 750 OPS guy. It is weird. I do like that series for them. They're gonna face Cincy at home with some off days. I would expect their offense numbers to go. And yeah, I guess that's the spin zone, and I don't know what to do with it with a couple teams. But if you're the Padres and things haven't clicked really, and you're 500, I think you spin that as a winning, like, okay, that's really good. If you're the Cardinals and things haven't gone yet, but like, look at the Cardinals lineup. It's still the guys you expect. I know they're looking for more out of their rotation. I guess that's a tricky spin zone because it's, okay, is it going to click and go? Or like, oh, crap, these are our guys, and it's just not clicking.
I think the depth is being tested there for sure. I mean, Musgrove was only thrown 8 innings. He's back. He had 1 start in Mexico, so I don't want to say you wash that from the books, but you can kind of like taper that down a little bit. I mean, Darvish has been pretty good. Nick Martinez has been pretty good. Seth Lugo's been pretty good. Then you get to Waka and Snell, and they just haven't really got it done yet this year. Those guys got to pick it up. We've seen it with the Blue Jays, with Barrios and Kikuchi, like kind of like, okay, we're 4 and 5 guys in that staff. Like, if we can put together solid seasons, that helps our team so much. I think that Waka and Snell need to be that as well. So I think if you talk to Padres fans, that's where they're probably most concerned. I don't know. I'll give them some time. I don't know. I like some of those names there. I think there's the ability to turn it around. But like you said, they're above 500 and waiting to go.
Man, Trev, I got bad news for you. As Reek, we didn't really talk about the Mariners Blue Jays series in the AL. So, I mean, you just might be.
I got something.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I've got something for them later too. Now I'm scared.
You get scared, bro.
And
they've been asking me to pronounce them dead. Like, every day I get 5 or 6 tweets. Hey, can you pronounce this dead? And no, I will not. I will not.
Proud of you for standing your ground.
JP Crawford.
Trev, I think this one can be quick because I think it's a loose topic in baseball at 1 month. Like, how much do you believe in in my DBacks. They win another series. They are tied with the Dodgers. They have a good month. They've got like a fun thing going. There's a lot of youth. Like, again, I don't want to put you on the spot, and I think it's an interesting question with the Pirates too. Like, I don't know if people gave you a playoffs yay or nay on both of those teams. Are you
Diamondbacks and Pirates playoffs?
I think Diamondbacks, it's like fair to say no. Like, we just tasted the Padres. You know the Dodgers are coming. The East is crazy. Like, and D-backs fans come and attack me, and you can. And, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the youth movement, everything clicks the rest of the way. Pirates are really tricky because that's such a good month. To come down from that is really tough.
I think that the Diamondbacks can be, I don't want to use the word pesky. I don't know if that's the right word, or maybe it is. I mean, they can manufacture runs with the best of them. Okay, they're ninth in the league in runs scored. You've seen Corbin Carroll almost catch Perdomo. That was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that was really good.
To me, it's look, you have the top end starting pitching with the Diamondbacks. You have Zach Gallen, who is seemingly unhittable. Merrill Kelly can do his thing. They have some pieces there. I think that's where I say maybe with the Diamondbacks is I got to know more about the back end of the rotation. If they have any guys in AAA that are, about to come up, how's the bullpen going to hold up? All of those things really matter over a long season. Offensively, you can go, but like if you're starting behind the eight ball because you're starting your back end of your rotation isn't getting it done, then that's difficult as an offense to sustain, and trying to play catch up and stuff like that. So I'll give them a maybe right now. I think both those teams are like, I got to see some more, man. It's a month.
That's fair. I mean, it's honest. It's not, it's why we're not sitting next to Mad Dog, because it's an honest answer, and that's all I ask. What about your fish with arms, Trev? That last year they were the worst team that could win a World Series if they could put it together. Hey, they're 16-13. They openly said we're looking at things a little differently. They brought in a lot of contact guys. Luis Ariz, again, how's your 438?
I can't believe he's hitting 438 right now. And it's 90 at bats, something like that. Like that's a stretch that anyone would love. But I feel like Luis Ariz is like, yeah, that's not a big deal.
I don't know, man. I told BBD on Wake and Jake, like, we got the home run race last year. We got innings scored. A lot of the kids haven't seen someone chase 400.
No, this is the most difficult era to put up batting average in.
And I think
it's not even close.
How poetic in storyline and media would it be if it would be the year they restricted they banned the shift, a player's going for 400, right? Like you can see it now.
Did Ariz get shifted? I feel like you don't shift guys like him who can spray the ball all over the place. Maybe you move him behind the second base or, whatever it is.
That's part of the point, man. But I still think it's a better headline if shift banned, player chases 400. Huh.
Yeah. I'll say this with the Marlins. I'm kind of on the same page with them. Like, I think they have the starting pitching to get it done. Bullpen's been a little shaky for them this year. Can they score enough runs? Essentially is. I mean, that's what it was last year. That's what it is this year. They've won 10. Are they 10-0 in one-run games?
10-0 in one-run games, which that feels slippery.
How sustainable is that? Like, we need to score some runs. I think we have the pitching staff to support some victories here and make a run at this thing. Said that last year. But I don't know, even with the Rise doing what he's doing, if they've really, like, their offense has entered the next territory where we can talk about them being true playoff contenders.
How about AJ Puck, who they went out and traded for, another Oakland rehab project. He's closing games for them. 12 innings pitched. He's given up one earned run, 5 saves. And again, Oakland, I don't want to say they punted on him. They went for J.J. Bleday, the outfielder that I guess the Marlins were done on. But, man, they've got a fun little week. They've got a kind of the crew that they're currently lumped with they're going on the road after Atlanta. They're going on the road to Chicago and Arizona. So that's going to be a little, how do we measure up? I'm interested in all of those games, which is a really excited thing to say this far into the season.
I haven't really had Sandy yet.
No, Sandy's been...
It's bad April.
Got some innings. It's not a Sandy April.
We talked about Soler having to come and do his thing. He's been pretty dang good. I mean, he's got 5 homers already. The on-base percentage is really not going to be there for him, but as long as he slugs, we'll be all right. Avisel Garcia has just been not good.
Avisel Garcia.
He needs to step it up. And those are the 2 guys they're relying on for power, and we haven't seen that at Avisel.
Trev, I think the last real series, because Braves and Mets played 5 innings, so not much to be there. Pirates run over the Nats. I had a mad Nats fan at me that said I wasn't giving them enough respect. I mean, all right, guys. I like Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore. Nice.
CJ Abrams is,
CJ Abrams hot.
Okay.
Trev, you were the boots on the street in LA. Dodgers-Cardinals. I guess what's the scoop? Ace?
Cardinals, seem fine. Like I said, I talked to Katie Wu. I asked her about the clubhouse, and she said, yeah, it was a little awkward there with the O'Neill and Marmol situation, but she doesn't think it's lingered. They just really haven't got the job done. The starting pitching has not been there for them. I saw Flaherty throw. He was kind of off, wasn't too sharp. Mookie Betts greeted him with a homer in the first at bat. So I think that's kind of where they need to improve. Wayno's on his way back. Hopefully he can come and kind of fortify that. But they look loose and they were having a good time. I mentioned how freaking jacked they all are, and it's really eye-opening to see the talent that they have there. I watched them hit batting practice, and they're doing all the things they need to do. They're out there early taking ground balls. I think it's more of a bad month for a good team situation. That's my feeling. Now, could it be that they don't have enough pitching? Possibly. Starting pitching is the freaking name of the game, man. And they haven't done well in the first month. Also, the Dodgers are really good. They're kind of relentless. And it's if one guy is not getting it done for the Dodgers, somebody else is stepping it up. It always seems that way. It's the Dodgers don't slump together. And I think that's the mark of a really good team. If Muncy's struggling, somebody else picks it up, and vice versa. If somebody else is struggling, Muncy picks it up. He's been freaking electric. I think he leads the league in homers right now, doesn't he? He's got 11.
Yeah.
He looked really good. I had a talk with the hitting coach, Rob Van Squate, because I spent an entire offseason.
Your guy.
We had a real nice chat. And I was just talking to him about how do you adjust to, a league where pitchers can just seemingly change their arsenal and the repertoire in a bullpen session. He says, it can be tough, but he thinks he has the recipe for it. He doesn't care about the sweeper. Everyone's freaking out about the sweeper. He's we can hit the sweeper. We're okay with that. We kind of went into detail on it, which was a fun conversation to have. Maybe we'll talk about it in a Wednesday episode or something like that. But I think that's it. Dodgers are a good team. Cardinals been struggling with their pitching. Offensively, they've been okay. They just haven't clicked yet.
Man, I'll say this. I was given some weird speeches to BBD. Did Wake and Jake last night to get it out of the way because we had a busy Monday. And I compared it to reality TV shows back in the day. I guess Survivor, when you do an event and you get an amnesty. The Rays have earned themselves an amnesty. They can screw the pooch and they're still fine. The Cardinals, man, you kind of burned up your get out of jail free card. That's it. You very much can turn it around, and we could be talking about at the All-Star break, you got, you're above 500. You've been playing such a better brand of baseball, but it's got to happen soon. You throw another dud out there, and all those teams I just talked about that are now competing, if Miami has a good month, if the Snakes have a good month, teams are jumping ahead of you and getting out of range.
10 and 19 is a very bad month.
That's
especially
a
for team
very
like the
bad
Cardinals.
month for a historically great franchise.
And if you look like even Jay Flair's numbers are kind of deceiving. I know he's got a 3.9, but his whip's at a 1.4. He had some struggles with walks early on, and a really tough start against the Dodgers there. The only one that's putting together like a fine season is Jordan Montgomery. Michaelis hasn't done it. Woodford hasn't been there. Matz hasn't been there. I know, like I said, Waino's coming back. Maybe he solidifies it. Is it enough? Is it like Yachty just not being there? Like, is that a portion of it? Probably not, dude.
Probably not.
It's probably just the pitching hasn't been good.
Probably not. But that's
Albert Pujols was in attendance.
Hot.
At the game. That guy walks around that stadium, especially with the Cardinals playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's with the Dodgers, too. Walks around that stadium. He could do whatever he wants, bro. Whatever he wants.
Speaking of big guys.
Here I am getting like accosted by the security. I'm like, bro, I have a media pass. Leave me alone. Sorry I don't dress like I'm a 60-year-old sad man. Like, I'm supposed to be here. And Albert Pujols is like, yeah.
Trev, I wish
like throwing roses in front of him to walk on.
I wish you could see the video of me showing up to Yankees games as media. One game I showed up in a jersey. I thought they were gonna like take me down. I thought it was over.
This guy came up to me and like, you're supposed to put your pass like on your, it's like a sticker.
Right.
The dude came up to me like, here's me, the microphone. He's like, I'm like, can you get out of my personal space, bro? Like, and I've been down at Dodger games a lot. I'm on the field all the time. These guys always harass me. I don't get it, man.
I don't either.
Sorry, I didn't hit 700 fucking home runs. Sorry.
Let's get ourselves some interleague baseball.
They just let you keep going. You got there.
Trev, a sneaky big boy matchup in the IL. How's your World Series rematch? The Fightin' Phils versus the Houston Astros. And the Phillies bust out the broomstick but have it broken as the Astros win the final game. Jake Myers with a home run in Maldonado. But those Phillies, they turned around their April. His name is Nola, N-O-L-A, Nola. 8 innings pitch and wheels up the next day, which lets Bohm and Cave and Sosa. God, I love me some Dombrowski. Wow, I love me some Dombrowski. Phillies, they get it done in Houston. Castellanos' sliding ball catch stat is kind of funny. Whenever he slides, he catches it. Anyways, Angels Brewers. There's a fun matchup. Brew Crew take 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee. Anderson versus Wade Miley in that first game. How's your lefty? Rowdy and Willie. Yep, that's their formula. Corbin Burns looks like he's back. And those Angels on the final day. Yeah, Shohei. And Rake Lamb. Give them some love. Let's go, boys. Milwaukee's defense doing some big things this season. Didn't know that. Just found out. And as everyone was watching, Reds and Athletics. Reds take 2 out of 3. They've been in a little bit of a heater. Proud of them. Who did it? Hunter Green. Yes. Ken Waldachuk and Lodolo. How about them dueling it out on the last day? Jake Fraley, Senzel. They have big RBI days. Fraley in the first 2 games. Cincinnati, happy for you. That's what happened in the interleague.
That was quick. Just
Yeah.
blew my nose and you were done.
Sound like Jess. Houston versus Philly. Trev, World Series rematch.
Hey, can you give me the interleague standings?
World Series rematch. I mean, it's kind of tricky because I say where they are along the way, so there's kind of not interleague standings.
How is Jess?
Jess as well. She's starting her own business. I think it's been a soft launch. Insert joke here. But there's going to be a website and everything soon. She's really excited about it, so I'll probably be plugging that soon. But
I saw she took a trip out with Paxton for Paxton's birthday. Shout out Paxton.
Paxton's birthday. Paxton did like a whole birthday weekend. Jess was like,
I can see Paxton being like a birthday weekend.
Birthday weekend.
She's got a lot of friends.
Phillies They started the year 0-4. At one point, they were 4-9. They end April 15-14. I think that's 15-14 can feel very different. I think for them, it feels all right. And they win a series against Houston that Houston fans, we've been talking about a little bit. We don't have concerns. I guess, let us know how you guys are feeling, because it's I assume you guys think you're fine. You're 15-13. Like we've said, you've been missing some guys. I guess let me know how it feels, because I know where the Yankees currently stand. It's not the best. Jose Abreu, those are tough numbers to look at. Brege's been a little under, although I don't think you're concerned about him. He's still getting on base. Like the rest will come. Phillies finished the month strong, and Houston has April.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back good series wins for the Phillies. And I think both these teams, I mean, we talk about World Series hangovers. I think it is kind of real. Like, you play that much extra baseball, like it maybe takes a little bit of toll on your body. And we've seen teams start out kind of slow after those runs. But I fully expect both the Phillies and the Astros to be in the playoffs, to be doing their things. The teams are just too dang good. I do want to talk about Castellanos.
How about that robbery?
And he's been like working on his defense and kind of like approaching it differently, according to a couple different articles. I'm going to be at the game tomorrow night. They're in LA. I'm going to see my boys, and maybe I'll get some more inside info there. But this was fun. This was a fun series to watch. Phillies take the first two, and again, like that's no easy task to go into Houston and do that.
And Trev, I keep saying it, and it's not like a cool comparison, but I keep talking like the next chapters of this season. You mentioned Joe Musgrove. He's got 8.1 innings pitched this year. Like, he could go out and have a 27 start season and be really good like he has for the past 2 years. And he hasn't really been a part of this season yet. Like Altuve, haven't seen him yet, but I know what he's going to do when he's out there. That's why I'm so excited to see the next part. And yeah, I think if you're the Phillies, man, you knew you had 2 tough series coming up. You handled your business. You got to be feeling pretty good. And if Bryce gets the doctor to sign off, he might be playing Tuesday.
Tomorrow, I might be there.
That's insane. That
is insane,
dude. Trev. I say this in the nicest way. It's kind of hard to be a badass in baseball. Bryce Harper's a badass, dude.
Well, I mean, he's been under the microscope since he was not the telescope, Jake, the microscope. They're all scopes, right?
They're all scopes.
He's been under the microscope since he's been like 16 years old, dude. You can't fathom the amount of pressure that this dude has felt. You can't. I've seen it firsthand. One of my best friends growing up was Delman Young, and he was the top-ranked player for every freaking age he was at. And I talked to him about the pressure, and, he tried to play it off, but, I know it affected him. And he did a good job with it. I feel like, he had a great career and kind of like lived up to the expectations somewhat. Bryce Harper has exceeded all expectations, and the expectations were massive on him. So to see him back in the lineup is going to be a treat for everybody. And yeah, both these teams they're about to go. They're about to go and fire off because they're just too dang good.
And the fact that I didn't fully connect, like Bryce Harper, where I started that, Bryce Harper could finish top 6 in the MVP this year, and he hasn't played an inning.
Sure.
Like if he hits like he does and he fills in however he needs to. Man,
the first game on Friday, Framber versus Nola, like give that to me every single day. Nola 8 innings pitch, Framber 7 innings pitch. That's just what these guys do.
Trev, I think to kind of close it off and get to the next part of the show, Brewers Angels, and I want to give snaps for the Brewers. I feel like they got lost in translation a little bit. They got off to the hot start. The kids were playing well. The kids weren't playing well. The Pirates went nuts. The Cubs had a nice stretch that we gave the Pirates a lot of love. We gave the Cubs a little bit of love. The Brewers deserve the love. And like I said, and them and the Blue Jays, I felt bad last night. I was like, damn, man, 18 and 10 months in baseball are really hard to come by. And those are 2 exciting teams that put them together. And, you see a chunk of the Brewers formula in this one. The kids started playing better again. They got great pitching from Burns and Miley. Like, yeah.
Miley's been incredible to start the year. That's Dalton Feely's favorite pitcher in the big league.
Yeah,
so got to shout out Dalton. Burns was doing his thing, and there was some fun stuff in this series. You mentioned the Brewers' defensive play. They have 25 defensive runs saved. That was going into Friday night, which was tops over the Blue Jays, who we all expect to be a very good defensive team as well, and they have 19. So they're doing it. I love the Brewers. I love what they bring. The Angels, I think, would be happy. I mean, Angels fans, let us know, but I feel like you're got to be pretty happy with your first month. It wasn't like last year's April, but I don't think you wanted it to be like that. Like, let's just be consistent,
you
bro.
almost don't want too much hype. This is a fun stat, as we're giving Dalton a shout-out. Angels have held leads in 23 of 28 games. I don't know what you do with that, but it's not a bad thing.
They've blown a lot of saves. I mentioned, like, overall the bullpen is, the numbers look okay. They've had some guys really doing well, but they've also blown a lot of different saves. So I think that's kind of one area where you could say, hey, that statistic is not going to continue. Like, you're not going to continue to blow saves like that. It's just like, it's not going to happen. So you can look forward to some more success there, I hope. Shohei hits the homer, had like a 6.5 second hang time.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, every time he plays, we're like, oh, he did something incredible.
The replay was silly. You see, literally, when you do a home run swing reaction and you see the fans behind and you see a couple people jump up and all that, literally everyone's face is like, it's going to be really interesting to see if that baseball leaves the stadium. And it did, because it's Shohei.
Brewers bullpen is, on the other hand, has been excellent this year. They've kind of just they're just a complete team, dude.
Defense,
I know offensively,
man.
we can, defense and pitching, whether it be starting and bullpen, is really good. Offensively, I feel like they have enough, just enough to get it going. But I like both these teams, man. I think the Angels will play good ball.
Reds A's, Trev.
Shout out Reds.
Shout out.
Raleigh. I like Raleigh a lot. I've been watching him more and more. I think we're going to hear a little bit more. No, you know what? Watch baseball today, because I'm going to give a shout out to one in particular, a guy on the A's.
Okay.
But yeah, Reds handle, take care of business. I guess we had to get a shout out. Wasn't there a walk-off?
Give me Jake Fraley. They took the lead in the ninth, but it was
no, Ruiz hit a walk-off single.
Esturi, he's stealing bags.
Yeah.
A's break the record, most MLB losses to end April. So,
consecutive series wins for the Reds.
Jake Fraley, I know Reds fans don't care about this. If Jake Fraley keeps playing like he is, he's going to find himself as a very nice trade piece. So I don't know. Sorry, Reds fans. But I'm not sorry about our standout performances. Brought to you by MLB 9 Innings. You're listening to a show about baseball. You like baseball. MLB 9 Innings brings you that in droves. They've got their league mode, live player versus player, 2,000 player cards to collect and use in your dream roster. Historic players, Larry Walker, Walter Johnson, Hank Aaron, Michael Schmidt, Trevor Hoffman, Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Trevor Plouffe, Jim Thome, Ty Cobb, Carl Hubble, and Lefty Grove. Make sure you download the app. It's kind of been the only place my Yankees have been hitting lately, so I've been going in there to refresh myself. Go download MLB 9 Innings. Have some fun. You like baseball. They got baseball on your phone. MLB 9 Innings. Trev, who has won your standout performer?
I love you so much, Seattle fans. I'll do anything for you. No, just kidding. I was going to give this award anyway. Not award, standout. My guy, Cal Raleigh, playing the Blue Jays. 10th inning. Hits the go-ahead homer. Puts him up 2. He was 2 for 4 on the day with 2 homers, 4 ribbies, 3 runs, and a walk. That's a very nice day. Obviously, it changes the game when you're in extras and you hit the homer to go up by 2. It forces the Blue Jays there to change their plans, with the runner on second base. They end up getting the dub. I believe it held them from being swept. So Cal Raleigh, man, doing his thing. I love watching that guy hit too.
Picking up Bassett. Bassett has a tough start to that game, and they fight back, which, Trev, again, we're wondering what's important right now because we don't know. I hope Seattle fans look back at that final game and say, that was a nice comeback against a good team, and that kind of sparked
a great
us.
series.
I mean, dude, the talent on the field. Bassett, Gossman, Manoah, Castillo. You know all the hitters. Like, yes. And that's why I got scared for you as a moment, Reek. But I'm glad we circled back to it now. Man, Cal Raleigh and Big Dumper. You know, they're going to hold that one over my head for a little bit because I was wondering if they'd be in the Wilson Contreras. They love their guy, and he is a threat. It's interesting catchers. It's really tough to rack up stats. I'm so interested to see where does his year end up because right now 800 OPS from a catcher. I mean, that's elite. And for what he provides defensively, coming off a 27 homer year, like Cal Dumper, maybe a little shift benefit too. And yeah, I hope that comeback means something for them. Because Mariners, let's not get lost. Let's not get lost this year. Trev, I'm a sucker for the classics. Like every now and then, I just have to mix in a Shohei award. I have to mix in a Trout. Do you mind if I mix in Clayton Kershaw in his 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 9 Ks? We should have a montage of each of the 4 of us giving this speech about who Clayton Kershaw is. Trev, not only that start against the Birds, which is fantastic, he ends April 5-1 with a 1.89 ERA. You know, we get big old hard-ons for Sandy because, this guy's going to throw 250 innings. Guess who's leading your National League in innings pitched? It's Clayton Kershaw after April. He was pounding the zone, 88 pitches in 7 innings, 68 for strikes. And guess what? We are so sucked into velo sometimes that Clayton...
Hold on one second.
Kershaw's,
you said big ol' hard-ons, you said pounding, and now suck. Like, what is going on with you?
I don't know. April's gone.
Okay.
Clayton Kershaw remains that dude. And yeah, you know, every year in free agency, how close was he to becoming a Texas Ranger? That would have been interesting, huh? He's the best pitcher of our generation.
Not only is he leading the league in innings pitched, he's also leading the league in whip at a .763. And he's making $20 million this year. Great. For 1 year, I don't get it. I think that's all he wants. The steal of the century is the Dodgers getting Clayton Kershaw every year on a 1-year deal. I don't get it, man. He's 35. Guys pitch till they're 42 now.
Guys are signing contracts till then.
Signing like record contracts at that age now.
If he went to the Dodgers right now and said, give me 5 more years and give me $125 million, they'd do it in a heartbeat.
I mean, it's always been the wild card, right? Hey, if the Texas Rangers put together a good season, does that make...
I don't think so.
Does that make it a little more enticing?
I think this dude maybe has already earned a statue next to Koufax and Jackie Robinson out there. But I think like he wants to make sure. I think he's going to play only with the Dodgers. He wants to be a 1 jersey guy.
I like that.
Think about a little Texas boy coming to L.A. Sounds like another friend of mine.
John Wayne. Some say John Wayne was in Fuego, Trev.
Dirt nasty's on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Now for the series, we got Nelson Cruz coming in at 6 for 10 with a double, a triple, and a home run. He's got a triple?
Yeah, he was the oldest guy to get a triple, yeah.
That was in a 2-game set down there in Mexico. My brothers, the hermanos. Kansas City outfitter Edward Olivares was 6 for 11 with 4 dubs, a triple in RBI like that. That was in a 4-game set. He also had 2 stolen bases. Andrew Vaughn. I don't know what to make this guy. I really like him. I think he's got a great personality too. 6 for 17 in that series against Tampa Bay. He had a double, 2 homers, and 4 RBI and 2 walks. For the week of 424 through 430, Byron Buxton, 7 for 23, the 3 doubles. He had 4 homers. He's putting on the fishing vest, going fishing, which I do like. I do like. 10 RBI in those. He had 2 walks, no stolen bases because Minnesota doesn't steal bases apparently. Paredes for Tampa Bay, 11 for 26, 4 doubles, a homer, 8 RBI, 2 walks. Eric Swanson, a relief pitcher for Toronto. Let's give the reliever some love. 3 1/3, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 9 Ks. That means he struck out pretty much everybody. That's nice. And for 2 weeks, we got your guy Clayton on there. 3 games started, 20 innings pitched, 8 hits, only 1 earned run. He has 24 Ks, so he doesn't care that he doesn't throw 98 anymore. Ezekiel Duran, my guy, shortstop for the Rangers, 16 for 43 over these last 2 weeks. 3 doubles, 2 homers, 12 RBI, 5 runs, 2 stolen bases, and he's also been hit by 2 pitches. And to end in Fuego, relief pitcher, another one. Cincinnati fans, listen up. Alex Young has been going off. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk against 10 Ks. And that's who's been in Fuego.
Hell yeah. Young Alex Young getting it done. Trev, the IL report. I've heard a few people say they don't like my little shtick of like hating the whole thing. Here's what I need to do. We've got placed on IL, injured in the game, returning from IL. So guys that have gone on the IL, you just told us DeGrom, breaking. Beep, 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 beep. Garrett Whitlock. Sox fans didn't like that one. JD Martinez goes on the IL. Maeda, Kerry Carpenter, Pache. Who else went on the IL? Tyler Mahle, like you mentioned. Guys that were banged up in the game a little bit. Garrett Cooper and Urquidy. Mike Yastrzemski. Hate that. Jake Bauers, first game with the Yankees, goes into the wall. Hoping he's all right. Brandon Crawford. Jeez, Corbin Carroll, Julio Rodriguez. These are some big names.
What happened to Corbin Carroll?
Corbin Carroll, a little knee thing. He's fine. I think he's invincible.
I mean, what does he expect running that fast, dude? Like,
Corbin Carroll,
what do you expect?
Maybe a superhero. Here's what I now like about this segment. Michael Harris, Deuce, and Will Smith, catcher, back. I like that. Ramon Laureano, did you see that throw? Holy crap. Randall Grichuk, ready to torment your team. He's back. And Taylor Trammell, friend. So that's the new IL update. I like that I can compartmentalize that. Who's out? Who got banged up? Compartmentalize? I don't know. I'm not a words guy, man. I got to be honest.
Been saying
the fact that you talk for a living is something else.
It's disgusting.
And your name is Talking Jake.
I think it's ironic.
Been saying we should. I hate this, and then I love this. The guy's coming back.
I love this. Trev, I'll tell you what I love.
Awards!
And they are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Trev, America's top-rated sportsbook app. A $5 bet on a winner will get you $150 in bonus bets instantly. Rack up some single-game parlays to win big. Join in the big league action now on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app. Sign up with code TALKIN. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code TALKIN. Trev, where are you going for your award, Papo?
My award is called the Checkout Lane Impulse Purchase Award. Now, Jake, you know, when you go to any store, specifically, just to say Target or to a grocery store, you're checking out, and they always put those items right by the checkout stand, whether it's gum, whether it's some candy, so the kids keep freaking tugging on your shirt saying, "Can I have one? Can I have one?" You end up buying something almost every single time. Oh, I need some chapstick. Oh, that's a pack of tissues. I need that. Oh, that, what I do is I don't eat sweets. They have these little things called Smart Sweets now. They're like low sugar. Like sometimes I'll just like grab one and be like, ooh, this is kind of naughty. So I do it. That's my impulse buy. Do you have an impulse buy?
It's funny you mentioned chapstick. I go through phases with chapstick where I live by it or it's just not part of my life at all. So there'll be times when my eyes light up and I'm like, ooh. If I'm going like candy, I'm on kind of an ice cream kick. Like if I'm gonna have
that's not an impulse buy.
No, but if I'm Like if I'm looking at sweet treats at the register, I'm going to say, hey, instead of these, I really like ice cream, I'm going to get that. So in a way, me looking at Mike and Ike's turns into ice cream.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is, I'm going to tie it all together here.
Sure.
Yennier Cano, standout reliever for the Baltimore Orioles. He was with the Twins last year. And if you remember, the Twins went and got Jorge Lopez from the Orioles. And they said, you know what, we're going to take Juan Nunez, we're going to take Cade Povich, we're going to take Juan Rojas. And, that guy with like the 11 ERA, I think we'll just take him too.
Yeah.
We're at the checkout stand. Let's just take that guy too. We'll just take Cano off your hands. Baltimore Orioles saw something that they liked at the last minute, got him in, and boy, oh boy, has he rewarded them. This guy has, in 9 games, 11 innings pitched, he hasn't even allowed a hit yet. The only person to reach base is a guy that he hit with a pitch. That is it. And if you watch this guy throw, he's absolutely nasty. Now, he had huge command issues. Guess where he's from, Jake?
Cuba.
He's a Cuban ball player, so they were smart to go grab this dude. Had command issues. His front arm was flying open. And as soon as he got to Baltimore last year, they started working on that. They started putting some resistant bands on him during his BP sessions. They're saying, look, man, if that thing keeps flying open, yeah, your pitches are nasty, but you're going to be behind in the count. You can't control it. You're going to get into hitters' counts. You don't want to be there. So he worked tirelessly to do that. Ends up having a decent spring training. He starts the year in AAA, but the bullpen got banged up. They had to bring him up. And he's been the setup man. He's got 2 saves now. He's been absolutely unhittable. He's got this sinker. He's got this changeup that at the speed should not be moving the way they do. But for a throw-in on a trade, this is how you talk about finding victories in the margins. This guy's not a young dude. He's 29 years old right now. To be able to find a guy like that when you're losing a reliever that was, did really well for you last year, but you pick up a guy who's been as good as he's been, and I'm going to say it again, 11 innings pitched. He hasn't allowed a base runner except for the one guy that he hit. That's unheard of. And you talk about, keeping your team in the race, making sure your team is winning these games that you have the lead in. The Angels ain't doing that right now, and their record is 1 game over 500. The Orioles are doing it, and they're freaking going off. Yennier Cano is a big part of that. He was an impulse buy with a trade last year with Jorge Lopez, so I wanted to give him a shout out. He gets my checkout lane impulse buy award. Shout out Yennier Cano. Get to know him.
Trev, it's one thing that I would love to actually know, and maybe one day we will, is that when a trade like that's happening, how do they get to him? Like, have they been talking about other pitchers the whole time, and then they're like, you know what, if you throw in Cano, I guess we'll try him out, and they secretly wanted him the whole time? Or did they know they wanted him from the start? Like, I would love to know how that goes down, because every other regular human's experience is like fantasy football, where you're like, oh, I'd love to trade. I really want the tight end, and I want that backup running back too, but how do I make it not seem like I wanted the backup running back? Like, oh, well, I guess if you throw in McKenzie, I might do the deal. Like, is that what happened here? Because, Trev, watch the guy throw. It's disgusting. The legs are everywhere. The pitches are everywhere. And it's part of the reason I'm in love with this Orioles team, because Bautista, Cano, Baker, Colombe has been great for them. He was Colombe, excuse me. He's bounced around.
It's a French name.
Perez, yeah, your people. Bauman has some gross stuff. Perez was gross last year. This team will lock you up if they want to. If their guys are ready, they will lock you up in this lineup, pounds and pounds and pounds, that the Orioles are a playoff team. And that changes my whole equation of the American League, which has me a little scared as a Yankees fan. And yeah, again, I said it before. The guy running the ship in Baltimore came from Houston, and it's increasing on the margins. And this guy is an increase on the margin. Was your throw-in a trade? a guy that toils in the minors and it just never pans out? Or is your guy now the best setup guy in baseball? That matters. That matters. Great award, Trev.
He had an 18.69, nice ERA for the Orioles last year. Obviously, it was only in 4 1/3 innings pitched, but they worked, man, to get this guy his mechanics under control, and it totally changed the trajectory of his career.
And that ties into how's your coaching staff and like all the stuff we've talked about, it from the Giants to the Rays to the Dodgers, the Orioles. There's a chance they have the new recipe, along with a lot of talent. Trev, I'm going to give out the Let's Go Clubbing Award. And I'm going to hit you from every aspect here.
I am so curious.
My guy, Easton McGee.
There you go, Mariners fan.
Gets the start for the Mariners, and he drops it on the table. 6.2, 1 hit, 1 walk. For a little while, he's going no hit bid in his first career start. I love that. You know, and I think if I'm Easton McGee, the first ever Easton to play Major League Baseball, I might go clubbing after the game. My first big league start, I drop it. The boys do lose the game, so it would be a sad clubbing. And hey, let's find out who Easton McGee is. He purchased from the Mariners from the Red Sox. How about that? Baseball. Weird.
Weird.
Trev, one of the more famous clubs, City, Vegas, Tao. I'm sure you've been to Tao once or twice.
I've been there a couple times.
I've been to the one in Vegas, not in the big city. Trev, Tao is also a made-up stat that we want to quantify at some point, of labeled take advantage of.
Oh, okay.
In a game when a foul ball is dropped or a double play is not turned, does your team take advantage of that? Whenever you play Houston or the Rays, it feels like their Tao is off the charts. I think in everything we talked about this whole episode, between Yennier, between guys needing to step up depth at this part of the season, this goes to Easton and the Seattle Mariners as a whole. You have a guy get his first major league start and he gives you 6.2, almost no hit. That's a game spiritually your team needs to win. And the Mariners, they just need to start winning in general. So Mariners, let's go clubbing. Let's start winning some games and go clubbing. Because the All-Star game's out there this year, Trev. And
we'll be there.
What's the tone going to be like if the 4th place Mariners are kind of slapdicking around? I don't want that. So I'm almost rooting for you to declare them dead. I want to go clubbing when we're out there with Mariners fans. I want to go out with Easton McGee. And I think the other thing is take advantage of, teams are taking advantage of if their guys are doing something, like you're talking about with Yennier Cano. You need guys to step up. My God, do my Yanks need about 3 guys to step up right now. So Easton McGee, shout out to the great start. Mariners, let's go. And for everyone who is stepping up on your respective teams, your Jake Fraley's, whoever it is, like, take advantage of it because you need that to get through a season.
Did he have to go on the IL?
Easton
McGee? Yes, he did.
I mean, I don't.
The heck?
I don't really talk about that.
Right forearm strain.
I'm hoping it was just funny business to get Trammell back.
Hopefully it is funny business. That is difficult. Any good team, any team that makes a run at the postseason, makes a run at the World Series, has to have guys come in and step up. You're going to have to rely on your depth. You just talked about your Yankees. You don't have no depth. You need depth. That's why I'm not too concerned about my Twins and Molly going down. Now, we want him there, but they got depth. They got rotational depth. The Mariners have always flaunted that in our face. We have depth. We have 8 pitchers that we like. Easton being one of them. Hope he's okay. But yes, a great start for him. And I do want to go club when we go to Seattle. I do. I don't know if there's really any good clubs in Seattle. I've never really been to any. I've been out a few times, but no clubs.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest club
And I'm also
guy.
too fucking old to go to a club. Let's just like get a glass of or a bottle of wine and go drink in our hotel room.
I'll see you there. And one lucky fan. No. But I do think we might have some All-Star news coming soon. We got a meeting this week, some planning. Might be fun. Hey, thanks everybody. Big week.
Love you guys.
Chick sucks.
All JM.
Let me say.
Woo!
I heard that John Boy guy is gonna be on.
John Boy's gonna be on one.
No doctor's appointments, right?
No doctor's appointment. New glasses.
Hell yeah.
Check out our merch, dude. Our MLBPA times John Boy. Is that how you say it with the X? Times?